Hello. How do I see if anyone is here? Um, hmm. Okay. I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, let's see. If anybody can see this or you're watching it, I guess just comment on the Patreon post if you can, because I have no idea whether anyone is here. The way this looks. Oh, wait, I see. Okay, 3 viewers. Okay. Okay, but how is the chat gonna go? Okay, don't mind me. I'm just like scooting windows around on my computer. And please let me know if you can hear me. It kind of sucks not being able to test this. But hopefully if it all works, then it'll be easier the next time. Any comments would be appreciated, because I don't really intend to just sit here and talk. I mean, obviously that's what I'm doing, but I kind of hoped that I'd be able to get questions from you guys to kind of direct this conversation. But to do that, I need some feedback. Anybody, somebody tell me what you're seeing, whether this is working, whether the audio is working. I'm not seeing any comments yet on Patreon. Ah, finally, okay, a comment from Jason. Thank you, Jason Squires. Okay, let me go to this post. Ah, it looks like, oh yeah, chat is, okay, so you can see me, and is it in a separate window? Is it in like a Google Chat window? And should I just go ahead and enable the chat window in that? Okay, on mobile, can't comment and watch at the same time. It's usually a crowdcast. I'm new to live streaming, so yeah, I'll check that out. But probably it's a paid. A lot of the ones that I've looked into are paid features, are and I'd rather not have to pay to do streaming. Also, this one is, I guess it's built into to Patreon, so I don't know. Okay, well, maybe I'll just enable the chat on this window and see if that's better for you guys. Although, I mean, I'm seeing your comments pop up fine now. And now that I know you can hear me, we can go ahead and get started. Okay. So I hope you're all having a lovely Sunday. It's pretty hot here in Texas. It's going to be 90 degrees today, which is a little too hot for me. But I'm inside, so it could be worse. And while we're getting started, I might as well just tell you what I've been up to lately. I have been working really hard on editing an acoustic set of songs that I filmed forever ago, like a year ago, in San Francisco. And I've been having the songs mixed and mastered for a long time. Nick from Lungs and Limbs did it for me. And I mean, I hired him to do it, but he did do it for me. And that took quite a while because he was just busy and stuff. So when I got those back, when I got the songs back and they were done, I am now editing together all the video footage because what I did was performed acoustically just on this super old piano that that was at the Regency building up in their old Masonic lodge upstairs. They had this piano that's over 100 years old, and I had it tuned, and it still sounds like a 100-year-old piano. But I filmed 8 songs, and I'm compiling all the footage and getting it all looking nice. And so soon I will be releasing that, and I'm really excited about that. And I've been working on it for quite a while. So yeah, that's what I've been up to in Survival Guide land, aside from trying to work on the new album, as you're asking Jared about. It's going okay. It's not flowing as freely as I would love it to, but I am doing it. And once this acoustic thing is done, I will also be getting you a video on the creative process for me, because a lot of patrons have asked about that so far. And that's about it for now. If you guys have any questions for me. I noticed that a lot of the people who are on here were also the first 20 patrons and in that chat, which is awesome. It's good to see you guys again. It's good to know that you guys care and that you're into it. I tried to not have it be mirror image, as if you can see. Yeah, the clock is backwards. I couldn't figure it out on this chat. So this is the mirror image of me. You're seeing what I see when I look into the mirror. So to me, it looks kind of normal, except for the clock, of course. All right, Tim. Question from Tim. I love the recent cover. Where do you get your sound samples? Oh, from the Nintendo sounding stuff. And do I compose in Ableton? So the video, the behind the scenes video that I'm planning on filming for you guys kind of covers this topic. A friend of mine, Naveed from the band Trebuchet, suggested this website called Splice to me. And it is super cool for making beats. It's a subscription service where you have access to, I don't even know how many, there's a bug on my computer. The tiniest little bug. Okay. It's a subscription service where you have access to probably, I would guess, at least, I don't know, 50,000 samples, something crazy like that. And you can go through, you can try them out. You can, they have like a beat maker where you can kind of drop sounds in and place them into a beat. And that's where I found, I think, all of the sounds from that last cover, the Nintendo East type sounds, and just even the drums themselves. And they have a lot of loops on there too, which I haven't really used. I'm assuming, it seems like the whole website is primarily for people who create like EDM or trap music or hip hop stuff, where you can kind of just take a loop and throw it in there and make something really easily and quickly, but it can get elaborate too. So yeah, I'm really stoked about that website because I'm not a drummer, and it doesn't really come naturally to me. So, but sometimes I can get inspired by the actual sounds themselves. So that's really helpful and really fun. I recommend it if any of you guys are musicians and want to try writing your own beats. Composing the music. Right now, I am composing in Ableton. Sometimes what I'll do is I will create a beat on Splice, and then and it's pretty basic. So I'll create the beat on there so I can test out the sounds, and then I will recreate it in Ableton using those same sounds. And I also have Reason. I've done a little bit in Reason, but not a ton yet. I'm the most familiar with Ableton. And I do GarageBand sometimes too. The birthday songs that I'm sending you guys, excuse me. The birthday songs I'm sending you guys, I've been doing in GarageBand, which is just super easy and simple and fun to use. It just doesn't have nearly as many features as the rest. I'm debating getting Logic because I've been talking to a few different musicians lately who are really, really backing it and have been telling me about all the benefits of it. So hopefully that was interesting. I don't know if you guys, I would assume a lot of you don't even really know these programs at all, but neither do I really. So there you go. What else is going on? Anything? Oh, also thank you for, I'm glad you like that cover, Tim. I know it's kind of a weird one, kind of different for me, but also not, I don't want to do too many that are just piano and vocals, because I know that's, it's kind of all the same in a way. So I'll probably be doing more covers with drums and full, full music and everything. It just is, it's also a little more time consuming. And now that I have like 30 covers to do for patrons, it's, we'll see how it goes. So, so no other questions, huh? Is it, you see the video, but don't see a chat for YouTube? So are you watching it on YouTube? Okay, yeah, Nathan says he's got YouTube running. Yeah, it kind of sucks not being able to test. I mean, I think this is working okay, but you kind of have to have two windows open, I guess, which is what I have. Let's see. Oh yeah, Tim. I feel the same way. Ableton is such a big program that I should probably take some online classes about it or something, because I only know how to use it sort of. And it would benefit me a lot to know, more about it. Okay, so it directed you to do. See, I feel like if I turn on the chat for YouTube, like we can only do one or the other as far as commenting, like we could do it through YouTube or we could do it through Patreon. And when I started this stream on Patreon, it said, you should direct your patrons to comment on Patreon so that if anyone goes back to watch it, they'll be able to see the comments and the questions. So I don't know. I think you can watch it on Patreon as well, because at least mine has a little spot where you can hit play. I don't know. I welcome your feedback on how this is working. Thomas Riggins, do you have any genres you prefer to cover, or is it what you're feeling at the moment? I don't have any genres I prefer to cover. I do kind of have a little bit of a running list of songs that I would love to cover. And then of course I have suggestions. When I was just doing covers for the email newsletter, I was taking suggestions then. So I still have kind of a list going. And then of course, some of those people who suggested are now patrons who can just tell me that they want me to cover that song. They don't have to wait and hope that I'm going to eventually cover it. So I will be covering those. But yeah, it's kind of just like whatever I'm feeling. And I have a list of suggestions from, I have a sync rep who's a friend of mine who gave me this list of covers that are of songs that she's authorized to I guess kind of shop, you could say. So there's another list that I have of songs that's like, oh, I could do Michael Jackson PYT, and she might be able to like get it on some playlist somewhere, I don't know. So I've got a few different areas that I'm pulling from for the covers that I want to do. And then of course, probably soon I will start just working on the covers for patrons and releasing those as well. And I'm pretty excited about, I know a lot of you guys were in that last chat, but I'm excited about the variety that I've got so far. And only, I think maybe 15 people have given me their cover preference. So I'm still waiting on a bunch, and I'm excited to see what's coming up. Let's see. Oh, okay. So it directed you not to watch on Patreon. Weird. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. On the phone app, you have to refresh it. On mine, I'm just on the computer, so it's just popping up like a normal chat would. I could go ahead and try to, I think I will try that. I'll see if I can turn chat on and see what happens. I might be scattered for a second, because if chats are coming in from other places, let's see, group chat. Okay, so I just clicked the chat button on this Google Hangouts window. So if that, of course, it's on the opposite side of my screen now. Can anyone see that? No. Okay. I have a feeling you guys aren't going to see this because it's through Google Hangouts, and You guys are on, it's telling you to go to YouTube. Okay, let's see. On PC, it made me go to YouTube. I try to watch this video on YouTube. Playback on, oh, you know what? I did disable that. Okay, hang on. Hang on, let's see. I wonder if I can change this while it's going. Edit, let me edit this. Let's see, I'll hit allow embedding. I'm sorry, you guys. And then I will also enable live chat and we'll just see what happens. I'll save the changes and we will see what that does, if that does anything. And let me go back to Patreon. And so, yeah, give me some comments on what's happening now. If you're seeing anything, if you're seeing, comment on Patreon, because I don't have YouTube open. Well, I guess I can. Yeah, it does have a learning curve. Okay, oh, I'll hit view on watch page. I guess I can. Yeah, it does have a learning curve. Okay, oh, muting. And I see a chat feature on the side. Wow, it's really weird because it's got quite a delay, which I just wasn't noticing before. YouTube chat is working. Embedding still isn't working. Okay. Maybe that's because I already hit post. I don't know. Well, since you guys are on YouTube, since you're all having to watch it on YouTube, at least this time, let's, we can switch the chat over to YouTube. And I don't know if you can see this, Brad Skady8 said to close the app and reopen to get the chat. So yeah, let's switch over to YouTube, since that's easier for all of you. And I will have to hide this because I can see my face moving and my mouth moving, but it doesn't match what is happening in real life. So it's really weird, but that's okay. So, okay, there was one question. Oh, Tim. Okay, there's a couple questions on Patreon. So Tim Hurley asked, what is my favorite movie? That's a really tough question because I do love movies a lot. But I think if I had to choose, I would probably choose Kill Bill. If I could choose both of them as a complete set, I would do that. But if I had to choose just one, I think I would choose Kill Bill 1. Although that fight scene between Uma Thurman and Daryl Hannah is also really amazing, and that's in Kill Bill 2. I really love that movie. Another favorite of mine is Royal Tenenbaums. That's I love most of what Wes Anderson does, but Royal Tenenbaums to me is just, it's so good. I love when there are movies, both of those are examples of movies where it's not from a book, you know, it's a filmmaker who creates the story and creates all of it for a movie. Which, I mean, not that I have a problem with movies that come from books, but it just seems like that's kind of all that people do nowadays. You know, comic books or novels that that should be turned into movies. And I don't know. There's something to me that's really awesome about a movie that is intended as a movie and made as a movie. It's just cool. Yeah, Kill Bill. It's great. I'm looking at the YouTube chat now. Oh, but there was one more question from, hang on, from Julian. Yeah, because he's on mobile, can't chat and watch. That sucks. So I guess in the future, I will, for the next one, I will try this again and try embedding it in Patreon, because that'll just make it, I would assume that would make it so you can chat and watch using the mobile app if you want. So he's asking if there are any local shows planned coming up. There aren't. I'm not really trying to put any energy towards booking shows right now because it's so difficult. I mean, I know I could play a handful here and there. That would be easy, but booking shows is probably my least favorite thing about this entire industry. So right now, because I moved and because I've got I'm working on the album, I've specifically not been booking shows. But definitely when I am booking shows again, I will be telling the world, and I will be, posting it everywhere. And of course, letting all of the patrons know first. So yeah, sorry, no shows coming up right now. I do have, I mean, it's so far in the future, it's not even exciting, but I do have tentative plans to go on a little mini tour with my cousin in October. So there's that. And hopefully I will be playing San Antonio around that time. But I mean, I'm hoping I'll, have everything together to start doing that sooner, but we'll see. I'll let you know. Let's see. Thomas Riggins, what music are you listening to at the moment? I am not, I mean, I had a feeling this question would be asked, and I was thinking about it earlier and thinking I've just been working really hard on editing my video. So I haven't really been listening to anything. If I'm just around the house washing dishes or something and not working on my video, let's see, the record that I have sitting on the record player is Phil Collins. But I wouldn't say like I'm into Phil Collins right now. That's just maybe the last thing that I listen to on the record player. So I don't think that counts. Samothy is asking if I have, oh, hey, Julian, you're on YouTube chat. Awesome. Have I thought about using Twitch? I mean, I know about Twitch and I have kind of looked into it, but it just seems so video game oriented that, which I think would be super fun. Like I would love to do a Twitch channel where I'm playing video games just because I'm really terrible at it. But I haven't really thought about doing it for just a chat. So I don't know. I guess I could look into that again and see whether it would be a good alternative. I mean, again, I think that if I could get this to work where it could just all be in Patreon, that would be the most convenient for everybody, I think. And it's a fairly new feature too, so I would assume that they're going to improve it as time goes on. Road trip from Denton. One of the spots that I'm thinking about playing in October is Dallas. So, and probably if I don't book anything in Dallas, I might book in Denton again. Were you at one of the shows at the Freaks and Geeks, Samothy? Because that's such a cool place. If you live in Denton, you should, if you weren't at either of those shows and you don't know about Freaks and Geeks, you should definitely go there, especially if you like video games, which if you're asking about Twitch, then you definitely know about. Okay, you were there. Cool. Yeah, that's such a cool spot. So yeah, maybe I'll try and book there again. Let's see. Oops. another East Coast tour. Our proposed routing is straight up, like from San Antonio, straight up to Minnesota and back down. So it's just a short tour. But East Coast, I definitely need to get out to with Lungs and Limbs, because we plan on doing all of the US, and we've done the South and the West Coast a couple times, or the Southwest, the South to Texas, and we did Nashville and stuff. So so we definitely have to get out to the East Coast as well. I don't know when that'll be, but that's a for sure. I'm sorry you missed the last tour, Thomas, because it was really fun and awesome. Okay, let's see. Oh, well, thank you, Samothy. It really helps when people in the audience have enthusiasm. That definitely helps the show. Let's see. How do you go about writing a song? A few different ways. I can say the most common way that I write a song is to start with the music. And, you know, in the past, I've always had someone else do this with me. So, and this has kind of always been my method generally. I switch it up sometimes, but usually it's that the music comes, there's drums, there's a melody of instruments, and then I figure out what vocals I want to put over it and what sounds the best with the music, and then kind of shift the music and the instrumentation from there to fit the vocals better. I do free write lyrics, but I don't tend to. I'm not a songwriter who sits down with an instrument and puts words into a melody first. I think that seems like a great way to do things. I have done that before, but it's a lot more difficult for me. It's easier for me. I feel like doing it the opposite way is more like a challenge, a fun challenge in a way, where here's this music that's done, you know, roughly done. And now here, let's put some vocals on it that fit it, and what's going to fit this the best. And I mean, sometimes it doesn't end up great and doesn't get used, but for the most part, that's how I like to do it. Tim was at the Bowery Electric in New York. Yeah, that was a really fun show. That was super, super fun. Hopefully I'll get to play New York again on the next, within the next couple tours. Got any shows I'm excited to go to? On Monday night, I'm going to go see the Dolly Rots at Bang Bang Bar here in San Antonio. I am not super knowledgeable about their catalog and their music, but I toured with them in Action Design a few years ago and haven't seen them since. So I'm excited to go see them play and get to say hi to them and hang out. Aside from that, I would have to look at a calendar because for shows that are coming up, I'll just write them down in my calendar and then I forget about them until they're about to happen. But nothing big, nothing really big. Since I moved to Texas, I've been trying to conserve my money and not, buy any tickets to big shows or anything. So I'm going to free shows for now. Any other questions? I'm going to check the Patreon just to see if anyone is still over there. but it'll take me a minute. Okay, no, everybody's over here on YouTube. It's so weird. It's so weird to see my face moving when it shouldn't be. Okay, so if if anyone's thinking of more questions while you're thinking or typing, I have a question for you. I recently read an article, and you may have seen it. I posted on Twitter, but I read an article about how the album is dead and singles are the only way to go now. Like, there's no point in releasing an album, which people have been saying that for a few years now. And I've just always been resisting it because I personally love albums. And I feel like when I want to hear a particular artist, I don't just want to hear one song. I want to hear, I mean, a lot of times my favorite artists, I wish the album was twice as long, like it's like not enough for me. So, but finally this article I read and I was like, I mean, I don't like this, but if this is how everyone's listening to music, if people really, truly don't care about albums anymore, then it's true. Like, maybe I shouldn't release an album. Maybe I should just release singles. Maybe I should just release everything as a single and then compile it into an album once I have 10 songs or however many, seems like a good album. So I'm interested to know your thoughts on that. How do you listen to music? Do you put on a playlist? Do you sit down, do you put on an entire album when you listen to Spotify or whatever you listen to, Apple Music? Or do you just make your own playlist? I mean, I guess there's a lot of options nowadays. So I'm interested to know. Let's see. I will look at your questions while this lag time. I don't know how long the lag is. When you go to a show, do you listen as a fan or as a performer? It depends on the show. I feel like as a performer, I can enjoy almost any live show. Watching live music and hearing live music is so fun for me, just to kind of see what people are doing and dissect what they're doing and just to enjoy, that they're doing it. So there's that aspect. But for me to go as a fan, I kind of have to already be a fan of that band. It's kind of rare for me to go to a show and be surprised by a band that I didn't know about already, It's just kind of like how it is, at least for me nowadays. I think I'm way past the stage of just going to a show and being like, wow, these bands are amazing. I don't know if maybe it's where I live or where I did live in California. I don't know. Let's see. Is there any covers I have on my bucket list of covers? My list is so long, I would have to get it out and see. I know there are some. But on the spot, I cannot think of any off the top of my head that are on my bucket list. Nope. I'm terrible at answering that question. Sorry, Samothy. And maybe one more question from before we talk about your listening habits, from Mark. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that I sound great live. Putting out live versions of shows. I don't have any plans to do that currently. I think probably because I'm about to do that acoustic release of 8 songs, I wouldn't do any other live stuff officially until I have another album out. because I feel like you guys would be like, if I release a record, you know, a few years ago, and then I release acoustic versions of that record, and then I release live versions of that record, I feel like by the time that, you know, the third version comes out, you guys will be like, what? Why are you still doing these songs? So I could totally see doing some live performance stuff in the future, but it wouldn't be until I gave you some more songs to listen to first. So yeah, I do like doing that kind of stuff. Okay, let's see. So Nathan says that he dislikes singles, full albums. Same here. Julian, right? CDs. Okay. Thomas likes albums. Sorry, now this is the boring part for you because I'm like reading your responses. Okay, a little of both. Being able to listen to playlist. I mean, I like playlists. I do like playlists because it's fun listening to a mix. But I'm wondering, you know, I could see like if everyone was saying, I only listen to playlists, either that I make or that somebody else makes, then I would, you know, maybe I should consider not doing an album. But it sounds like you guys in general are saying albums, which makes me feel good because I feel the same way. I like albums. I really like when there's an artist that I really want to listen to, I'm just like, when this album is over, a lot of times I just listen to the album on repeat, like the whole album, because I just want more, you know, from that artist. Of course, it's not always the same style afterwards on their next album, and I'm not always as excited. Let's see, any other questions? Oh, here's a question from Tim. Are there any albums from your childhood that you pinpoint as the moment you got into music? Yes, 100%. I was obsessed with Green Day when I was, I think, 14. Dookie came out, and I grew up in a small town where there was no venue, no shows coming through. And I had kind of tried all different kinds of music. I had singles from like En Vogue, and, you know, I had as a kid, listened to, you know, some pop stuff, boy bands and whatnot. But as a teen, I kind of gravitated towards rock music. And we had one rock station in our town. And also I wasn't really allowed to watch MTV. I can't remember if I first heard it on the radio or first saw it on MTV. But when that record came out, I was like, this is my calling. This is my thing. And not a lot of people in my town were into it or knew what it was. It was mostly country music and like hip hop, R&B in my town. So, or rock, like just straight rock. So the punk rock thing, like pop punk, it was just like not a thing there. But I was so gung ho, and I had that record, and it's funny, I reminisce about it sometimes because I would go home from school and put on my CD and just like read the lyrics, just like lay on my bed and read the lyrics and read the liner notes. And, you know, that was like what I did. I would just listen to music intensely for hours. And I was like, how are the drums so fast? That can't be real. I didn't understand how anyone could drum that fast. And I also remember how, I mean, this was before I played music, so I could not distinguish the instruments from each other. And I mean, in punk rock, obviously, it's just like a guitar and a bass, maybe two guitars, but it was all music. And it's also, I loved it so much that that's why I wanted to start playing and singing. And so I did. That's what I did. And yeah, 100%. I went and ordered, we had one little record store in our town that was like the size of a closet. But what was awesome about it is the one guy who owned it and ran it, he would order anything that you wanted, and he knew all about all the different albums that were coming out. So I went in there and I brought my Green Day CD, which he's the one that I ordered it from in the first place. But I brought it in and I was like, can I get the other, this liner note right here says that this song was on this other record. Can you order me that record? And he would. And so I got the other Green Day albums, and also in their liner notes, they're like thanking Rancid and stuff. So I got Rancid from that and Operation Ivy, and just the research of reading through all their notes is what got me my whole first collection of CDs, which is kind of really fun. It's like detective work. All right, let's see what else you guys are asking or saying here. Yeah, Billy Joe was definitely an influence of mine, for sure. I mean, Tsunami Bomb was my third band. So it started earlier than Tsunami Bomb, and maybe was even a little bit more distilled by the time I was doing Tsunami Bomb. Yeah, I was pretty bummed that I wasn't allowed to watch MTV. I mean, by the time I was a teen, my parents were, more busy. And actually, my parents were divorced, so I was allowed to watch it at my dad's house, but not at my mom's. So now that I think about that, I think that I first saw, what was that? What was that first single? Longview, on MTV at my dad's house, and was like, what is this? This is amazing. Let's see, what else? Yeah, albums are great as long as it doesn't take forever for the next one to come out. Sorry. I know it's taking forever. I'm to that point. I've been to that point where I just am feeling guilty for not having new music out for you guys. But I'm working on it. And I will for sure, I say for sure, I haven't fully thought about this, but probably I will release a single first, just because I know it's been like forever since I've released anything for you guys. The acoustic stuff is sort of an in-between, just like a little project type thing, that will tide you over maybe for a little bit until I have something new for you. So Julian just saw Green Day last year. Going to a Green Day show was also my first big concert that I went to. And it's really funny to remember back to it because, I mean, you may have heard me talk about this or seen it in an interview, because sometimes people will ask, like, what's the biggest show or the first show you went to, or what inspired you? And my best friend and I, we were 15, and the show was in Oakland, and we were only allowed to go to the show because our brothers went with us, our older brothers, who were 16, and they drove. And my friend and I, we still can't believe that our parents let us go, because like two 16-year-olds and two 15-year-olds driving to Oakland, to a place they've never been. I mean, obviously I'm so grateful that my parents let me do that, but I'm just like, man, it's so surprising. It's so surprising they said yes. It's almost like we kind of feel like, because our brothers were there, our parents were like, okay, it's fine. You guys will be fine. And we went so early because we had never done anything like that. And, we already had tickets, but we wanted to get to the front. We wanted to be in the front row. So we got there literally at like noon. And of course there was nobody there even. And so we were like, okay, our brothers made so much fun of us at that point. And so we're like, okay, well, let's go get pizza. And we went to like this really gross round table and got some pizza. We came back and it was like maybe 2 o'clock or something. And there were like 10 people in line. And we were like, see, now there's people here. We shouldn't have left. So we get in line and we just like sat there for hours and hours. And when the doors opened, we were totally those kids who ran to the barricade. We like ran straight from the back of from the entrance all the way to the stage and stayed there for the rest of the time. It was so exciting and so fun. And it's really some great memories of being 15 and being squished against the barricade at the Green Day show in Oakland. And I sustained some definite gross looking injuries from being squished on that barricade and having people sit on my head and kick me, that are crowd surfing or like, suffocating in the pit and having to get out. It was something. It was something else. Good times. Okay, Samothy is asking about reimaginations of songs off the last album. I have not thought of that because I feel like people would be just like mad about that. I mean, I'm already doing the acoustic release of a handful of songs. It's going to be 8 songs, and I feel like like I was saying before about then releasing some live stuff, I think people would just be like, seriously? Like, how many times can you rehash these same songs? Come on, Survival Guide, get it together and do something. So no, to answer your question, that's the short answer. No, I have not thought about that. I appreciate the suggestion and, the assistance on trying to get something out, but I would be too worried that everyone besides you maybe would be a little perturbed about that. Oh, where did I come up with the name? Let's see. Depends on the song. Yeah, well, I mean, you'll get to hear the reimagined versions, reimagined acoustically, which was fun, and it's fun to do, and it's cool to have. It's cool to me to have the option to doing it acoustically. So we'll see what you think about those whenever they come out. Okay, I will answer this one more question from Tim Hurley about where the name Survival Guide came from, and then we'll wrap it up unless there's any other pressing questions you guys want to throw down while I'm answering this one. It's been about an hour. So the name Survival Guide, as you guys know, I assume, when the band started, it was me and Jason who used to play guitar in the action design. So we were brainstorming band names, and Survival Guide kind of it kind of popped out of nowhere for us as we were just, blah, 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 brainstorming what would seem cool. And I think that there was actually like a I don't know, a trail guide or something like that sitting on the table next to us. And we just threw that out there. And the more we thought about it, the more we were like, that's a pretty cool name to us for a number of reasons. First, it has a really nice ring, survival guide. It's got like a little rhyme within it almost. Second, we liked how it could have so many different meanings. Just not meanings, I guess, so much as what it conjures for each person. It could be nature related, which is awesome. Nature is great. It could be, some people think of the Zombie Survival Guide, which is a well-known book. It could be, it could remind you of the bleakness of how life can be. Or it could remind you of, the concept of survival can make you feel strong as well. And finally, for our personal, because we felt all of those things. We're like, yes, it could be this, it could be that. And it also just really clicked with us too, because we had been coming from the action design, which ended not on a bad note, but we all would have loved to see that band continue. And maybe on the next chat, we can get more into, what happened there and why Survival Guide is what it is. But we were like, we kind of had this feeling of surviving musically and just continuing, even though things may fall apart. We were at a point in life where we couldn't see ourselves not doing music. And so now it applies even more to me in that way, because, after Jason decided not to play anymore, I was like, well, I'm going to keep going. And I did for a second, for maybe literally 5 minutes, I would say. I thought seriously before finishing the record, because that was really difficult for me, because I depended on him for a lot of stuff and he was not coming through. I like how this question about where the name came from is turning into this saga. But anyway, so finishing that record was really hard for me, because a lot of the songs were still in demo and weren't, ready to release. And some of them even still hadn't been written all the way. And he was dropping off and not being responsive and not helping me at all sometimes, and I was really depending on him. And so for like 5 minutes, I was just like, you know what, maybe this is a sign. Maybe I should be done. Maybe, maybe this is such a struggle, like maybe I just shouldn't do it anymore. And then I was like, okay, what would that be like? And I started picturing my life without playing music and performing and, doing music. And it was so sad. I was just like, I can't even, I can imagine what that's like, and I just don't like it. And I don't know what I would do. I've been doing music for so long that I can't see myself not doing it. So the name Survival Guide applies even more to me being a solo artist now, because I'm just like, I'm doing it, I'm doing it however I can, and I'm going to keep doing it as long as I feel like I can. So there you go. I hope that that answers your question and maybe created some more questions for the next time. Oh no, yeah, I'm seeing your comment, Tim, about the hiking survival accounts. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. Um, so it's really annoying because people just see the name survival in, and bots or whatever, like bots are finding and following. And I'm like, whatever. I don't know. Yes, last question to answer. How often do I think I'll do these? I'm planning on doing these at least once a month for the $5 and up patrons. And at some point, I'll probably do some just on Facebook Live as well to everyone, because I do kind of want to increase my patronage somehow at some point, or just see if I can at least. But yeah, for a Patreon, I'll be doing these at least once a month, and the next one, I'll go back to that poll, and I will let you guys know when the next one's going to be. So you'll have like a few weeks at least to think about if you have any other questions for me, and I will think about questions for you as well. I guess that's it for now. Let's see. How should I stop? I guess I'll just say it's been really fun, and thank you for showing up, and thank you all for being patrons as always. And if you haven't sent me your birthday info or your cover song, if you're a rattlesnake or a centaur, definitely do that so I don't miss your birthday, because I don't want to do that. All right, well, thank you guys so much, and I will see you around on Patreon, and I will hopefully see you on the next chat as well. Thank you. Goodbye.